Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. Bobby Hammz here with my review of Terminator Dark Fate. This is the 6th movie in the Terminator series, but it's supposedly the true follow-up to T2, Judgment Day. If that's the case, then to a lesser degree, it feels like it belongs in the company of Return of the Jedi and The Dark Knight Rises. That is, it doesn't reach the quality of those films, but as a third entry in a highly regarded trilogy, it follows a pattern of not being as groundbreaking as the first one or as entertaining as the second. What I'm saying is the first Star Wars and Batman Begins changed space adventure and comic book movies respectively. Then The Empire Strikes Back and Dark Knight solidified them as being big time successes. However, Return of the Jedi and The Dark Knight Rises, though great movies in their own right, are kind of on the downslope. Dark Fate is on that same downslide. You know, you've got the first Terminator and then T2 and then Dark Fate. Where Return of the Jedi and Dark Knight Rises concluded those trilogies, Dark Fate leaves the door open for more movies, which is both a good and bad thing, but I'll get to that shortly when I cover some of the spoilers. And really, I'm not even sure if they are spoilers since just about everything is in the trailers, but I won't reveal the big twist. So on the positive side, Dark Fate has very good performances from the entire cast. The main players, Linda Hamilton, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Mackenzie Davis, Gabriel Luna, and Natalia Reyes, their acting kept me from noticing the story's flaw, at least for a while. Mackenzie Davis's grace had me convinced that she was as single-minded on completing her mission as any Terminator. She really sold it. And Gabriel Luna was just as compelling as an unkillable machine that easily blends in to gather information on his target. It also never blinks, so that was kind of creepy. Also, I really enjoyed much of the special effects and fight scenes. Being produced by James Cameron and directed by Tim Miller, who directed Deadpool, the visuals, fight choreography, and action beats as far as how the environment was used is really on point. Luna's Rev 9 Terminator skeleton and liquid carbon tar form thing, I don't know what it was, but it reminded me of like less viscous tar pits. Anyway, it looked like a great successor to the T-1000. And third, I enjoyed the sparing use of the T2 theme, you know, where it mattered. It wasn't overused. And that's kind of it for the good stuff. So here's the not so good stuff and some spoilers. Now, if you've seen Terminator and Terminator 2 Judgment Day, then I mean, besides a few replacements here and there, you've already seen Terminator Dark Fate. The plots of both those first two movies are combined here. There's a target, Natalia Reyes, an unstoppable advanced Terminator that can liquefy itself, Gabriel Luna, a badass human from the future who's sent back to protect the target, Mackenzie Davis, an older model Terminator that switches sides in order to protect the target, there's Arnold, and Linda Hamilton is the connecting tissue for all of it. Right? So looking at it from that angle, Dark Fate is very redundant and kind of repetitive. Sure, the setting and the time frame are different, but it's all too familiar, which is crazy because there are 5 people credited as writers and 3 of them credited with the screenplay. And David S. Goyer is the connecting tissue there, and he's had some hits or misses. For example, he wrote the Chris Nolan Batman trilogy as well as Blade 2 and Blade Trinity. So Dark Knight Rises. Additionally, Terminator Salvation and Genesis took story ideas that might have been available for Dark Fate, especially the future war sequences. So the story is nothing new, and the presence of Arnold's Terminator really doesn't make any sense at all, and made it feel like a shoehorned reason to bring him and Hamilton back on screen together again. I mean, they play well off of each other, that's not a big deal, and her reason for hating him is totally understandable in the movie, but he really wasn't vital, right? So here's one of the major spoilers that I kind of have to talk about because Arnold's inclusion is just like, what? So Sarah stopped Judgment Day by destroying Skynet before it could evolve and become self-aware. She and John went on the run, and that's all from Terminator 2. Okay, I'm following. But while she and John are hiding out in some country because she was still a wanted criminal in the US, a Terminator finds them and kills John. But it's not another T-1000, it's another T-800, you know, another Arnold. Now, why would an AI, knowing it has higher chance of success with a newer model, send an obsolete model to do a job that it had already failed to do. But even worse, how could an AI that no longer exists in the future send a T-800 into the past in the first place? And before you think, well, maybe it's a timeline thing like in Genesis and it's a different version of Skynet with the same goal, nope. Grace says early on in the film that she'd never heard of Skynet. Her deadly AI thing was called Legion, and T-800s were not a thing. So it's one timeline and T-800 should not be, right? But the movie tries to explain away that paradox by having Arnold say something along the lines of shockwaves through times or whatever. I didn't buy it, and it raised more questions than I feel like addressing now. Huge problem there. And like I said before, the ending doesn't end the story. It's good because John Connor is no longer the sole important, savior person on the planet. So things can expand beyond machines targeting one man. It's bad because this movie showed that there aren't too many new ideas that can be explored in the Terminator storyline. Like Salvation tried to show the war with the machines without lasers, which was so lame. And Genesis had lasers, but the timelines thing, I mean, what the? So really leave the door open for what? I don't really get it. Other than that huge plot hole, the movie really isn't half bad. I'd give it, 5 out of 10. So I guess it is half bad or half great, however you look at it. Anyway, it's no T2, that's for sure. But to end this on a high note, I did like the movie's message. It's entwined with that big twist I mentioned earlier. Therefore, I'll keep it cryptic and just say that the future is female. So that's gonna do it for me. Let me know what you thought of Terminator Dark Fate if you've seen it. Like and subscribe if you like to like and subscribe to things. And I'll be back in the next video. I think Arnold was included in this movie because Terminator is his baby. It's one of the movies that made him become really popular in the 80s. And without him, I don't think the series would have gotten as far as it did. But also, I don't think Arnold would have gotten as far as he did without Terminator. So, he's kind of has it on his back as much as James Cameron does. So that's kind of a good thing. And although I think he could have been written out of the story and not have too much of an impact on the overall arc of everything, I do think that it was a decent send-off for his T-800, Terminator character. So that was good on its part. Although I still don't know with the ending though, why leave it open unless they're gonna take the next Terminator movie into space, And I mean, they could do like a crossover with, I guess, Ridley Scott, because really xenomorphs are kind of the Terminators of space. So could it have like a Terminator versus aliens thing as the next movie? Who knows? Oh well, whatever. Later.